Hello and welcome to a very quick pop-up chat. So I've decided to come on. I'm about to go to bed. I'm in my bedtime kimono. So yeah, I'm about to go to bed. It is, what time is it? It's getting on in the UK, so I do hope that everyone can make it. So the purpose of this video is to kind of bridge the gap in between the last video and obviously where we're expected to be within the next couple of days. So it is Saturday, tomorrow is Sunday, and reports are coming in from all kinds of sources that over the last couple of days there have been intense discussions between palace aides with regards to the ongoing Harry and Meghan situation. What is coming in is that there is actually going to be a face-to-face meeting tomorrow, which is Sunday, between the Queen herself, Prince Harry, Prince Charles, and Prince William to discuss and hammer out exactly all the details and all the implications of what's going to happen, what solutions can be reached, and what's being said is that a series of options may be presented to Prince Harry. There's also talk that maybe Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, could be phoning in as well, some kind of conference call or video link to be a part of those talks and those conversations and that dialogue as well. So obviously we do not know at this point exactly what the options are going to be in terms of being laid out. We don't know the content of that. One thing that has been reported as well is that obviously this is not just a royal family issue, it also has issues in terms of government. So it's expected that there will be implications for the Canadian government and also implications for the UK government with regards to tax implications, security measures, and all the rest of it. So this is going to be a big whole-scale discussion regarding the future of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. It's also been reported that the Queen, reliably reported, that the Queen wanted this issue resolved in days rather than weeks. And I think the timescale that's been kind of put to it is 72 hours. So if a decision is reached and agreed tomorrow, Sunday, then that deadline will roundabout be met. If a decision is reached tomorrow, when we will expect to know about it could be as early as Monday. I do think, potentially we could be getting details out about this by Monday. This is big. This is a big... It's still in the media, it's still everywhere on UK TV, it's still in all the papers, it's still a hot topic on people's lips, on the street, on the ground. People are talking about this, people are giving their opinions on this left, right, and centre. And I think, like I said in my previous video, I think the monarchy is going to go into some kind of self-preservation mode. No member of the royal family, apart from the monarch themselves, are bigger than monarchy as an institution. And I do think that they are going to be fairly tough. There are reports that, especially with regards to tax, that the options presented will heavily include implications for tax. Now, we don't know entirely what they are, but there are definitely going to be some kind of implications, tax implications, I think, presented to Harry and Meghan. I'm going to go to the chat room to see what people are saying. So let me just load that up. Oh, I forgot to say, I hope you've all had a really good Saturday. Right, here we are. I can see the chat room loading up. We have 398 people watching currently. Let's just go and see what people... Everyone's saying hello. So hello to everyone in the chat room. Margaret says, I would like to see them given some royal official title for Canada. That's another thing that has been reported, that there could also be some other kind of option. with regards to some kind of role. Now, I spoke about this in previous videos. You know, the one that I spoke about was maybe a governor generalship, potentially of Canada, although we know that the current incumbent of that post has only been in post for 2 years. So that would require a little bit of goodwill, I think, and movement on behalf of her. But potentially, maybe some kind of role to do with the Commonwealth could be offered. But would that give Harry and Meghan the financial freedom that they are looking for? I kind of doubt it. So I don't know what options are going to be presented, but you know, this is hopefully going to get a really, really quick conclusion, I hope. Sandra T says, I think the Duchess doesn't want to be part of this plan. She'll be certainly blamed for it. There has been lots of blame put everywhere, to be quite honest. I've heard blame put at Meghan, I've heard blame put at Harry, I've heard blame put at the Cambridges, I've heard blame put at the Queen, I've heard blame put at monarchy as an institution, blame at the press. I mean, I've heard blame put everywhere, to be quite honest. Judy, I agree, who says, I am so ready for everything to be worked out. Love all of them, and it bothers me that someone might be hurt. I still feel really, really sad. Really, really sad that this is even happening, that we are even having to have these kind of discussions. It's not something... it's not an enjoyable experience. It's not pleasant. And it does put the monarchy in harm's way. It does put the monarchy in jeopardy. So yeah, I hope a suitable solution is found really, really quick. I really do. Yes, Elderly Poodle, this is part of history. And yes, there is also talk, obviously, that Meghan has been going to do a voice for Disney, and there's an article I've read where Harry is seen to be, you know, asking for a part for Meghan. So yeah, there's all little stories coming out about things like that too. DJ says, to be fair, you've been deriding the Daily Mail as gossip, untrue, etc. Yet all of their stories have turned out to be correct. Don't you think you should retract those statements? No, because I don't believe that everything... I believe that a lot of what the Daily Mail has been saying has been completely sensationalist. There are still lots and lots and lots of their stories which I do not think are true. For example, things like the falling out over Princess Charlotte's bridesmaid's dress and all that kind of things like that. I also don't think that the tensions back in the early days were ever as horrific as what the Daily Mail reported. I think consequently things have got worse. Obviously, we know that communication is at an all-time low. There's also reports that Prince William finds it difficult to even put his arm around Harry anymore. So yes, I believe that a lot of the press talk has had some basis in truth. That I will say, but not necessarily to all of the extent that they said. I do think also that a lot of what they said was to get headlines, was to get money. So no, I don't think in the very, very early days of all this, I don't think it was as bad as what they were making out at the time. A lot of the stories that came out were completely, really far-fetched. I mean, during the summer silly season, there were some, you know, horrific stories coming out that I think were basically sensationalized. Harry himself, in the African Journey documentary, did say that probably 90% of it was made up, and I probably agree with him on that. But there was a small part of it, maybe 10%, that was true, as has been played out, I think. And I think that's the bit that you're talking about, you know, the 10% of it is true, but I think 90% of it was lies, made up, and exaggerated greatly. Donna C says, did you see where Prince William spoke of his sadness? I mean, again, we don't know the accuracy of all of these things coming out, but the one thing I will say is I think the general gist of the fact that the royal family want this sorted out really, really quickly. I do believe what Omid Scobie reported, I think it was yesterday, that the royal family actually really kind of want to help Harry and Meghan reach their goal, but at the same time, they aren't going to put the institution of monarchy itself at risk for just two people. They are going to want to get this sorted to protect monarchy, but also to give Harry and Meghan the freedom that they want in a way that is viable, that squares up to the ideals of monarchy. I don't think there is going to be a case of letting anyone have their cake and eat it, as has been reported. That phrase has been bandied around quite a lot in the media. Like I've said in a previous video, the models that I think the royal family will kind of stick to are more along the lines of Princess Anne's children, Zara and Peter Phillips, who don't have titles, don't do any work on behalf of the Queen to represent the Queen, but yet they can do what they want. They can go and do whatever deals they want. Or there's the Beatrice and Eugenie between a rock and a hard place type role, which I don't think would be advantageous to the monarchy or even to Harry and Meghan. I also, I think it's sad for the monarchy because two of their star players are potentially, well, walking away. And I don't think it's advantageous to the monarchy. It's more in the advantage of the monarchy to have them in the fold and doing the good work that they have been doing, because Harry and Meghan have been doing a fantastic job. Harry has been a fantastic independent royal himself, doing all the work and charity work that he's been doing. When Meghan joined, when they got married together, they have been doing amazing work. I mean, I don't think anybody can really fault the work that they've been doing, the impact they've been having, the tours they've done, all the different projects that have been launched. It's all been really, really good, and it will be a great sad loss to the monarchy for them to lose them. It will be really, really sad. I'm going to scoot all the way down. Yes, I am wearing a kimono. Nancy Cooksey says, do you know what time their meeting is tomorrow? Oh, no. No, we have no idea what time any of that is, but it will happen tomorrow. Let's just scoot down to the bottom. Annie says, Harry has been the workhorse for that family for years. He needs peace. I agree. He has done an amazing job, and so has Meghan. Meghan's done a brilliant job since she's joined the family too. Natalia R says, I don't think it's going to go down well with the British people if Meghan and Harry are allowed to keep their titles while still making money off it. I just don't think it will look good for... I have to say, from what I've been hearing, watching on TV, reading comments, I don't think... polls as well, reading lots of different polls that have been taken out and issued. I don't think it's going to work, kind of this kind of half in, half out effect. It's not been done before. It's not been tried in the capacity that's almost been outlined by Harry and Meghan. I think it opens the monarchy up to a lot of criticism, using, your titles to be able to fund your own lifestyle. It doesn't square up, and I don't think the royal family are going to allow that to happen. I think, like I've said, I think they're going to go into preservation mode, and I think what the result of it all will be, what the conclusion will be, I don't think will look quite like Harry and Meghan proposed on their website. Maybe there will be a compromise, maybe there will be something of a meeting in the middle, but I think it will be more pushed towards either, Meghan, Harry, or both, and I think that will be the case. I think it will be more pushed towards either, Meghan, Harry, or both, and I think that will be the case. I think it will be more pushed towards either, Meghan, Harry, or both, and I think that will be the case. I think it will be more pushed towards either, the Zara and Peter model, no titles, paying for your own, accommodation. If you want security, paying for it, but not doing any work on behalf of the Queen, which would be really sad if it got to that point. That model, or the Beatrice and Eugenie, called upon when you want, when needed, but you would come under a lot of criticism for being titled and earning a living. For example, I've seen examples where, let's just say, for example, Harry got a sponsorship deal with a watch company, and then he turns up at Trooping the Colour wearing that watch on display. Would there be conflict of interest? There's all these things to consider. Southern Lady says, just because something has never been done before doesn't mean it shouldn't be done. I am definitely not saying that something shouldn't be done. I'm saying, is it workable? Is it workable? Will it square up? The royal family owe their existence to a very delicate balance between the British people basically, agreeing to fund the monarchy that represents them, and the monarchy which lead a life of privilege because of the British public's desire to support them. But the rub off between it is lack of privacy to a certain degree, and duty. The British public, I think, are supportive of the monarchy in general, but they're only supportive of the monarchy if the monarchy is being dutiful, if they are serving the country, if they are putting country before self, which the Queen has been exemplary at over the years. And it's because the monarchy has been keeping this very, very delicate balance, treading this very delicate, fine, nuanced line that is very difficult to understand if you are not from this country, if you do not have a system of monarchy. It's very difficult to understand and appreciate fully. But the monarchy's existence is because it has the support of the people, and that is because the monarchy is dutiful. They support charities, they support good causes, they work tirelessly on behalf of the nation. If you take away some of those structures, some of those pillars, then the monarchy is at risk of crumbling. If the monarchy loses the support of the British people, then it is facing jeopardy, ruin. It's facing ruin. Let's have a look down as well. MSME 2012 says, so very well said, duty before self. Thank you for putting this fiasco into perspective for us. You're more than welcome. Laurie says, as a mother of millenniums and hearing all the gruff about how entitled they feel, this is the epitome of entitlement. John Pilling says, I can see how it could be a challenging transition for Meghan and Harry, as if they make a huge success of it, the monarchy will look out of touch. The comparison between the households may intensify. But also, if one or two members of the royal family are allowed to basically be in but also making their own money, then basically so should the others. What about Beatrice and Eugenie and all the rest of them? It opens up a can of worms. It sets a different precedent that, like I said, could lose the support of the British people. And if you lose the support of the British people, that is why the monarchy is there. They are there because they have the support of the British people, and that, depending on what happens, that could be at risk. Jeff says, don't think they should be making money for themselves using their royal titles. Free Speech, June, says, so how is it different to Princess Anne's kids? Because Princess Anne's children were not born with titles. Princess Anne famously refuse titles. Therefore, they do not do any work on behalf of the Queen. They don't do, any engagements on behalf of the Queen. They do not represent the country. They are not working royals. They don't have titles. Therefore, there is no conflict of interest in them making money, doing deals, having their own businesses, having a normal life. There is no conflict of interest there. People can't criticize them for earning a living. With Princess Beatrice and Eugenie, they have a royal title, so there is always going to be criticism if they are seen to be using their royal title to make money. And that's why Beatrice and Eugenie have been for years in between a rock and a hard place. It would be easier for Beatrice and Eugenie to be full-time working royals, of which they are not. So life is actually pretty difficult for Beatrice and Eugenie in terms of being able to make the same kind of money that, for example, Zara is doing. Zara is making millions and millions a year in sponsorship deals, largely without any criticism. I know there was a little bit of a fracas late of last year regarding a £100,000 sponsorship, but that was through a different set of circumstances surrounding it, which I think anybody would probably be criticised for if they did a deal of that nature. But you can see the differences between what having a title means and not having a title. It does make things different. MSB 2012 says, how are Harry and Meghan allowed to trademark Sussex Royal and the title is given by the Crown and can be taken away? Because that's something that you can trademark anything as long as it goes through the correct procedures and no one else has done it before. You can trademark anything. And that's where the criticism is going to lie. If they're going to launch things through Sussex Royal, then they are using their royal connections, their royal titles to make money, and that's where the contradiction is going to come. That's where the criticism is going to come from, and that's where the danger lies. And the palace is going to want to very, very carefully avoid any conflict of interest. Amelia says, when a royal family member takes on a title, it brings with it responsibility rooted in duty and service, which entitles them to remuneration and privileges and constraints too, which is basically what I've been saying. Bethany Gold says, Princess Anne's children are connected to royalty, that is why they have sponsorships. Let's not kid ourselves. But they don't have yes, that they are still in line to the throne. And yes, they do have royal connections. They are part of the royal family, but they do not take anything from the British public. They don't take anything from the public purse, and they do not represent the Queen on any level. They're part of the family, but they are not part of the working royal family. Harry and Meghan's proposals are to still represent the Queen, which makes it completely different. It opens them up to criticism and accusations of conflicts of interest, which would be very, very, very harmful and damaging to the monarchy. With Zinni says, the things people are acting like a big deal really aren't that a big deal. Lisa says, Harry is 7th in line. Harry being a minor royal should not affect anything. Why don't the newspapers in Fleet Street pay attention to Fleet Street? And Prince Andrew. Well, I think the Andrew issue is not going to go away. It's clearly not going to go away for Andrew, and that will be another big issue going forward in 2020. Florence says their mother, Princess Anne, is taking the taxpayers' money. She is, but Zara herself and Peter are not. Maria says Chris Ship tweeted out that the Duchess will be on the phone at the meeting. I would probably say it's highly likely that there would be some kind of video link or phone connection or conference call going on. Probably, I would imagine. Right. And basically, that is everything for today. I mean, I don't really think there's anything much else. The Queen has been pictured driving around the Sandringham estate, so the Queen very much, has made herself visible, that she's on show. I think that may be a display that she is. Maybe it could be a coded message to the British people that she's there, she's present, she's in control. Because that's another thing that I said. This is very embarrassing to the royal family. What's happened looks to the outside world like the Queen has lost some kind of control and grip of the monarchy, of the family, and I think the Queen is very, very keen to avoid any accusations of losing control. So the Queen has been out, she has been seen driving around the Sandringham estate, and I think that is to show that she is present, she is active and in control. Also, I think these stories coming out that the Queen is going to be actually physically present at these meetings also is to show and to display that she is there, she is in control. So I'm just skipping down some articles to see if there's anything I've missed that I might want to talk about. No. So I'm going to go now. I'm going to get ready for bed. I am in my kimono. So I'm going to bid you all farewell. And obviously, if we do get any details coming out tomorrow about any of these, anything from these meetings coming out, I will be here at some point tomorrow to talk about those. If not, I would probably expect maybe details to be trickling out by Monday. So, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and also do hit that bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. Also, please do make sure you are subscribed to this channel, and also my special dedicated Harry and Meghan channel, Steps of Sussex. I will pop the link in the description of this video because once all the major details are out, I will be putting all of the kind of lesser minor stories on that channel, basically to stop the main channel being completely basically turned into a Harry and Meghan channel, because there's going to be so much more detail coming out that probably deserves some kind of comment to work through. So to keep this main channel still about all of the different royals, that's why we have Steps of Sussex. So I will be doing a lot more work on that channel in the coming weeks. So good night from me in Shropshire. Mwah to you all, and goodbye.